Just a quick little legal disclaimer. SilverStone sent me this power supply as a review sample with no expectation other than I make a video of it. And that video is still in the works, but in the meantime I want to give an update. In theory, I finally have a board that works. I don't have a heatsink at the moment because I had to return the H11 board with the defective memory slot, which was the only heatsink I had. I ordered a heatsink 2 years ago, sure, 2 weeks ago, and it never arrived, so I have the joy of trying to find another heatsink. Seems like I can't get this build done without having problems, but I'm really excited because I have a test fit going here, as you can see. It's not quite perfect. I think the dimensions are slightly off in various directions, but that's kind of whatever. But wow, we are looking good here. Only thing that's missing other than the heatsink is potentially one more RAID controller. Depending on which hypervisor I run. So if I run ESXi, I'm going to pick up a Perc H330 to run my 4 solid state drives. Otherwise, sorry. Otherwise, if I run proxmox, then I'm going to run off the onboard SATA. And I might even get fancy and get a SATA DOM to boot proxmox off of rather than wasting one of my drives. I don't quite understand how proxmox works yet, because I think, well, no, I wouldn't be able to. I was going to say, I think I can use my proxmox boot drive to do non-proxmox things as well, like store ISOs and whatever. But I plan on putting those in some sort of RAID, either a ZFS RAID Z1 or RAID 5 using the Perc H330. I am going to have to move my HPA 330 up somewhere different because I determined that having the drives with the ports facing each other like I was originally planning was going to make my life miserable from a cabling standpoint and stuff. It was just going to cause too many conflicts having two sets of cables trying to butt up into each other. So it's looking like having them facing the same direction is going to be the solution. And it'll give me the ability to kind of have the space to manage the cables. Interestingly enough, I'm using the SATA power for the SSDs, the regular SATA SSDs, and then the SAS SSDs, I'm going to use the 4-pin Molex connectors with these adapters. Problem I'm going to have is these only split into two, and what I'm probably going to do is just fabricate my own splitter. I'm going to take a long section of SATA power, and I'm just going to clip off one of these Y splitters and then resolder it together and call it a day. That way, basically I'll have one plugged in over here, and then I'll have a long runner coming all the way around and then hit the other SAS drive. But yeah, I'm super excited about this SilverStone power supply. It's gonna be perfect. This is gonna be great. Cables are they're not too long and they're not too short. It's kind of it's complicated. These SATA power connectors I think are going to work out right. And somewhere buried in here is my PCI Express power. If I wanted to get really fancy, which I don't have the budget for, I would pick up a 4060 low profile, and that only requires a single 6 or 8 pin, I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, it would reach 24 pin. It's going to be tricky to manage. I'm not quite sure where that's going to end up looking like yet. I might zip tie it, kind of loop it like that. The 8 pin, I don't really know which of these headers I'm supposed to plug into. I think that one's labeled number 1 though. And actually it is advantageous to have it go this way because then that helps keep the cable out of the way. But cabling this is going to be fun. I mean, I have it mostly laid out the way it's going to play out. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I have a general plan. I'm really happy that these SATA power connectors are straight and they're not angled like this, because if they were angled, it would cause other issues for me. So that is fantastic. But I think what's going to end up happening is the fans are going to be tied together in pairs, and then I'll send the wires under whatever tray I build to mount these SAS drives, and then obviously use the headers. I'm gonna have to put guards on these because I think what's gonna end up happening is these 4 pins are gonna be going around this side, because I think realistically these drives are gonna be closer to the motherboard, like this almost. Don't think this gap here is quite accurate. I think it's going to be a little bit smaller because I think overall, with some of the spacing and measurement issues that I got this slightly wrong, and I think this is like a ½ inch longer than it should be. Also, I think this would be recessed a little further. I think it'd be more like that if this were the back, because obviously these points aren't going to be outside of the case. But yeah, this is pretty wild. The other thing that's pretty cool, well, actually, there's a lot of things that are gonna be really cool about this. But so I'll have a USB 3 header coming from here, but it's not going to the motherboard. I don't even think I'd be able to plug into it with that card there. Maybe if I put a different card there. It's going to be going to my USB controller. And this USB controller, let's see if I can remove this with one hand. For some strange reason, it fits really tight. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to damage the board accidentally. But it has a internal header, so that's going to be running off front panel, which is going to be cool. It'll give me front access to USB 3 ports, and then the external ones will be going to my monitors, which have USB hubs. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be cool. I think even with spacing, I might have space. Yeah, it's hard to say. I might be able to do a 4th drive. It might not be SAS though, if I wanted to do that. I could basically what I could do is I could add like 2 regular SSDs for caching or whatever for TrueNAS. Honestly, don't think I'll need it though. The only other thing that I considered doing, which I don't really want to do, but it'd be so cool, would be ditch these SAS drives and replace them with M.2. I could always put these in my server. If the crucial P3 drives I bought for my NVMe NAS didn't have such terrible endurance, I think it's like 200 drive writes, those things are going to die. They're not going to last very long. I thought about the possibility of putting the 4 terabyte M.2 drives in a adapter card in the PCI Express slots, but I don't really know if I want to do that. It would be cool to have the 13-inch depth case, which would put me probably like that deep. But I think really long term it's going to be beneficial to have this, because the other thing I could do down the road, as U.2 drives become more accessible and cheap, I could get a PCI Express card that'll break out into, I don't remember what the header's called. I think it's OCP or something like that. But I could break it out into 4 cables, and then I could run U.2 drives in here and get like some really sweet like 8 terabyte ones or something, and go wild. But yeah, so this is pretty exciting. The only other thing I'm kind of wondering about is what it's going to be like from a noise standpoint. I believe the heatsink is probably going to be the biggest contributor to noise. the fan on the FX600 is super quiet from what I've seen so far. I haven't really been able to fully load it down yet. And then these, I can probably tune those through IPMI to get them at a speed I want them at. But yeah, I don't know. One step closer. This is really exciting. So, if you have any thoughts or ideas of what I should do before I actually fully commit to a build, let me know. Otherwise, just a little update, I guess. So, hopefully it was interesting. Thanks for watching.